Shady, let's get it popping, big dog. We finally know who is in the NBA Finals. It's the Celtics, it's the Mavs. The most important sports question that can be asked over the course of the next 7 days is the question I'm about to ask you. Who has the early edge in the series? Mavs, Celtics?
Mavs. Yeah. You know, I'm so happy for today, not because it's Friday. Yeah. But because my dog Slick's in the building. I love to talk basketball when Slick Rick the Ruler is here.
Yes, sir.
Because he agrees with me all the time. If you guys don't, but he does. I'm going to say the Mavs just because a lot of different reasons. One is, first of all, they played the better competition, right? They've seen teams best. Yo, we've seen against the guy that's, for the MVP at SGA. We've seen him play. We beat him. So we've seen guys like Ant-Man that we was comparing him to Michael Jordan as a youngster. We beat him. We beat Cat. We beat them dudes. And I think about the Celtics, who'd you guys really beat, though? Who'd you really beat? I get it. You guys probably have the best all-around roster in basketball. I would give them that. A lot of talent, right, from 1 to 5. I see it. You get what's my man coming back, the big tall
Porzingis.
Yeah, Porzingis. He's coming back. I understand all that. But if you look at who they played, and who the Mavs played. And we look at who their best stars are. We keep talking about who's the best duos in basketball, right? We keep asking about that now and in the past. And we keep talking about the Mavs and Kyrie Irving and Luka. So if you're asking me who has the edge, I'm going to the team that has the 2 best superstars. Yeah. I'm taking Kyrie and I am taking Luka before I take the best player on the Celtics, Jaylen Brown, and the second best player, Jason Tatum.
It is going to be a firework-filled show, family, so let me add my little sprinkle if I can. I agree with Shady on this one. Now, I'm born and raised in Dallas. I still got the 214 area code, so y'all know what time it was. I went to the Mavericks parade in 2011 when they beat the Heatles. I was there in 2006, sitting next to Birdman and Lil Wayne when they went up 2-0 versus the Heat and ended up losing. So I am a Mavs fan, regardless of my unbiased opinions on TV. But Shady said it right. Luka's different. And though everybody on the court is a pro athlete, as you can see sitting at this desk, not all pro athletes are created equal. I mean, when Luka steps on the court, they haven't seen a Luka Doncic before, not in a mighty long time. It's different. I remember playing against Drew Brees. Drew Brees is a Hall of Famer. Drew Brees is cold. Then I remember playing against Aaron Rodgers. And though Drew Brees is nice, Rodgers was nicer. Then you can talk about playing against the other guys like Pat Mahomes and Tom Brady's, etc. There are levels of greatness even amongst the greats. So while they did see a Halliburton, the Celtics did. While they did see a Spidey Mitchell for 3 games, the Celtics did. While they have seen great players, you haven't seen a Luka. And I would suggest that Luka is currently peaking. Like, Luka is in his prime right now, and I think his prime will probably last 4 to 6 years because of his style of play. He's efficient. I think the Mavs, Slick, Ric Bucher have the early edge, but what do you say, my friend?
I agree. I don't always agree with Shady, but in this case, I do agree because of a number of reasons, and you gentlemen have stated a couple of them already. But you have Kristaps Porzingis. Let's start there on the other side. Kristaps Porzingis coming back after a long layoff. We've seen what that looks like for a guy who's had a long layoff and is coming back. And to me, he is an X factor for them. But we saw it in Joel Embiid. You can come back and play and you can be a factor, but are you going to be the biggest factor that you can possibly be? Going from 0 to playoff intensity is just a different animal. And then I look at the way that the Dallas Mavericks are playing and the way they're utilizing all their pieces and the matchups. Like, it's not just Luka and Kyrie. Derek Lively is giving you something. Derek Jones and P.J. Washington. And when I look at how they match up with the Boston Celtics, the Boston Celtics have not seen anything close to what the Dallas Mavericks are going to present to them as far as rim protection and wings who can defend, the combination. And defensively, you could make the case that the Dallas Mavericks are, well, we said it about Minnesota because they were the regular season best defensive team. The Dallas Mavericks at the end of the regular season and through the playoffs have been the best defensive team that we've seen.
I got a question for you, and I got a question for the desk. James Jones chime in as well, but Slick, I'm responding to you immediately. Are we prisoners of the moment? We often are. Like, we haven't seen the Celtics play in about 5 days. They swept the Pacers. They beat the brakes off the Cavs. They beat the brakes off the Heat. The Heat didn't have... So we haven't seen them play, but this is a Celtics team that is 76-20. Keep in mind, America, I'm going to give you a stat. The only only teams that have been better historically, more dominant than the Celtics, are the Warriors with Kevin Durant, the Warriors the year before without Kevin Durant, the 73-win Warriors, 2 of Michael Bull's 6 championship teams. Those are the teams, the 85, I believe it was Lakers, the 86, I believe it was Celtics. There are only about 8 teams in the last 40 years that have been more dominant than the Celtics. So it's hard for me to get up here as much as I want to because I'm from Dallas and just sit here and glowingly praise the Mavericks. What we're witnessing with the Celtics is more dominant than we have seen quite literally ever.
True. What, the Celtics?
The Celtics. I mean, only 8 teams historically have been better through 96 games.
Okay.
8 teams historically. I mean, they're a top 10 dominant team all time at this point.
But as you always say, context is important.
Yes, sir.
Which conference was the better conference?
West. Easy to West.
So the Boston Celtics were far and away the best team in the Eastern Conference. That explains the record, okay? Because they were 3-5 against the top 4 teams in the Western Conference, all right? And you're playing more Eastern Conference teams, obviously. You had a number of Eastern Conference teams that were tanking from the very beginning. It just wasn't, the conference wasn't as good. So I take it with a grain of salt, their best record in the league.
Okay.
Right?
Okay, listening.
And then, to your point, yeah, you can only play who you play in the postseason, right? But I know the level that the Dallas Mavericks can get to because they wouldn't be here now if they hadn't gotten to it.
Yeah.
The Minnesota Timberwolves knocked off the defending champs in 7 games. The Dallas Mavericks made short work of the Minnesota Timberwolves, gentleman's sweep. And so, can Boston get to that level? Maybe they can, fully healthy, but I need to see it. There's nothing they've done to this point that convinces me they can play at the level that the Dallas Mavericks are playing right now. So is it possible? Yes, because to Shady's point, like the talent is there on the roster.
Of course.
Yeah.
But you got to show me.
Yeah,
and they haven't had the opportunity to this point to show me the way the Dallas Mavericks have.
I appreciate y'all repping for the Mavs, and I'm rooting for the Mavs. I want the Mavs to come out of this thing winning. But early edge, I got to give it to Boston. The Boston Celtics had a chance in the regular season to play the Mavs. Luka had 33, 18, and 13. That's called a triple-double, right? Tatum had 39, Brown had 34, Kyrie had 25. The stars showed up. They lost by 10, right? Some people could say, well, that's before the trade deadline. Well, they played again after the trade deadline. Luka, 37, 12, and 11.
What's that called?
They call that a triple-double, right?
They do.
Tatum had 32, Brown 24, Kyrie had 20. The stars showed up. So what this is letting me know, and not only did they show up, it was 138 to 110. That's called a beatdown. So for me, when we talk about early edge and both the stars showed up in both these games, I got to go to the role players. Which role players is better? Which role players is going to deliver? If you ask me right now, is Mavs role players playing solid? Absolutely. But if I got to put my money on it like Shady do sometime betting on these games, I'm going to go with Porzingis. I'm going to go with Al Horford. I'm going to go with White. I'm going to go with Drew. I'm going to take those role players over the Mavs role players. So early edge until this series shakes out, I got to go with this Boston Celtics.
So let's go to that March 4th game.
I'm
where
just
they
saying.
won
Slick
by
know the date.
20, by
Slick know the
28.
date.
He looking at my paper. That's why he linked over here.
Tell me who was starting. You don't have the starting lineup.
White was starting.
Josh Green was starting.
For who?
Josh
No,
Green.
I'm talking about Dallas.
Dallas, yeah, he was starting?
Boston
Oh, man.
didn't see. Josh Green was starting. Derek Lively was starting,
That
right?
was the last game he started.
Daniel Gafford wasn't playing. Derek Jones wasn't
He played,
playing.
but he
Dante
didn't start.
Exum was in the rotation.
Exum.
Tim Hardaway Jr. was in the rotation. This is a different Dallas team.
Agreed.
And the constitution is different. Derek Jones Jr. and playing the way he has as a 3-and-D guy is different. Derek Lively now coming off the bench. To me, tilts the scale as far as who has the better bench. Because I can't name a single person coming off the Boston bench. I mean, Peyton Pritchard, I think, is the first one.
He scores a little bit, so he scores a little
Right?
bit.
He can score a little bit. He's like T.J. McConnell, Josh Green type of guy. Derek Lively is a
But look at
game
the game. Look at the games that Luka had, though. Like, something's going to have to give him. My man got 37, 12, and 11. Like, you can't really play no better than that,
I
even
agree.
with whoever's on the team. But we can't keep kind of like bumping it back because they didn't have this, they didn't have that, they didn't have that, and Boston beating people down.
No. But so as the playoffs go on and you get to the finals, what you find out is that by and large, the stars cancel each other out, and it becomes what are the contributions that your 6th, 7th, and 8th guys give you?
So you trust the Mavs 6th, 7th, and 8th more than you trust the Celtics.
But
Not me. I don't.
If Kristaps comes back, you're
don't.
now kicking Horford to the bench.
Yep.
Now I like Horford and I like Pritch more than I like what the Mavs have off the bench, particularly depending on what Lively got going on. Lively took a slight bow to the head yesterday, and you saw he almost got sent back to a different galaxy because he's recovering from what he's recovering from. So if Porzingis comes back, I think that does, in fact, tilt the series because now you're sending, a 17-year vet in Horford who's been in all of the games in the world, all the big-time games in the world. Now he's coming in off the bench. I'm just shady. What's hard for me, Big Dog, is like, I can't punish the Celtics for being so dominant, right? We talk about the Mavs and who they played and who they've been tested by, but the Celtics didn't play with their food at all. I mean, at all. They won 12-2 en route to getting here. 12-2, simply put.
As they should have.
No doubt about it.
Okay.
But we've been in situations before when we said as they should have and they didn't.
Yeah.
You feel me? Like, only the Cavs in 2017 and the Warriors in 2017 are the most recent teams to get to the NBA Finals this swiftly. So the Celtics don't just beat you, they dominate.
But I feel like you and James are speaking of the Celtics in that time frame when Jason Tatum was being the best player on the team. Right?
Of course.
What was their numbers again?
Man just averaged 30 in this series.
But did you see his 30, though? See, that's No, the 30.
It matters. It matters.
Him and Jaylen Brown both averaging 30. It's 130 is a lot different from the other 30. Do you agree with that?
I agree, but what I'm arguing right now is both them dudes on the same team, not who the best player. So both them dudes is playing.
But what I'm saying is when Jason Tatum was averaging them 30s and he was doing that in the games you're talking about, he was dominating, though, real efficient, wasn't struggling. Even you averaging 30, can we say that he struggled this last series, or you don't think so at all?
I wouldn't say struggle. Could have played a little better, though.
Well, what point are you making, 2-5?
What I'm saying is, you playing two different teams. The Mavs you played then is not the Mavs now. The Boston Celtics you was talking about then, they're not that now. Some of them dudes aren't even playing like that. Like, Exum plays...
So you saying Celtics
Exum plays a little bit of minutes now. Derek Jones, the way he's playing right now is lights out. Playing defense, hitting open jumpers. P.J. Washington, right? Despite what you might have thought who he was when he was with Charlotte, you watch his brother now. He's playing defense, he's shooting with confidence, and the last thing is momentum. Yeah. We act like, and we play this game, momentum is a big thing, and confidence. So the way that they Mavs are playing now, they're playing with so much confidence.
Here's my question, though, real quick, and bear with me, viewers. Let's talk about the Celtics, right? Start with versus the Heat. I'm just going to give you all the points. 114-94, Celtics win. Then they lose. 104-84, Celtics win. 102-88, Celtics win. 118-84, Celtics win. Heat, y'all done with.
Before we keep going, let's just address it real quick. The Heat, for the viewers, without Jimmy Butler.
No doubt about it.
And everybody always says Jimmy Butler in the playoffs is way different.
No doubt about it.
And Terry Rozier.
I'm giving you all that.
I forgot about that.
I'm giving you all that.
Let him know
I'm
that.
simply saying 20-point victory, 20-point victory, 14-point victory, 34-point victory, it looks like. Okay, next series. Cavaliers, 120-95. Celtics win. Then they lose. 106-93, Celtics win. 109-102, Celtics win. 113-98, Celtics win. Cavs, put y'all away. Now let's get to the Pacers. Okay, now it's the Eastern Conference Finals. Pacers haven't been in a mighty long time. Reggie Miller's in attendance. Everybody's there. We're trying to see what's up. 133-128, I believe, overtime. Celtics come back, Celtics win. 126-110, Celtics win. 114-111, Celtics win. Closeout game. Celtics, they don't want to get swept. 105-102, Celtics win. Put them away. Now we're in the NBA Finals. All I'm saying is, I'm not even disagreeing with nobody at the desk. But when you hear those kind of numbers and those outputs, regardless they're NBA players, Celtics just bomb. Go home, next. Go home, next. Go home. They stand you up. They sit you down. Get the hell up out of here. To me, Shady, I'm looking at that like,
I'll say this, though, Slick, right? And like I said before, I think the Celtics have the best roster in football or in basketball for the last couple of years. Not just the last couple of years, right? You do add in Drew Holiday, who's a phenomenal player. But when I look at him, I look at Marcus Smart, they're the same guy. I just think that Drew is probably better on defense, probably better shooter, et cetera, better player. But they're similar. All I'm saying is I've seen this act before, right? I've been to this circus and I've seen it before. I've seen the little flips. I've seen the tiger mess around. I've seen all that before.
That's good.
I've seen the top team for the last couple of years get to the mountain and choke. Have we not seen that? So my thing is, one thing that Slick said earlier, you got to show me. And the last time I checked, Jason Tatum's from the show me state. And he need to show me how good it really is because I haven't seen it.
That's good. That's good. That's good. Nobody will disagree. Final word, Slick?
Roster is the most talented. I agree with you there.
By far.
Is it the best roster because of how the pieces fit together?
Break that down.
That is my question.
Break it down real quick.
Well, I'll just simply go to the two best players.
Like
Jason
with
Tatum
the
and Jaylen
numbers.
Brown are going to get their numbers. Do they get other guys' numbers? Because Luka Doncic and Kyrie Irving don't just get their numbers. They get P.J. Washington numbers. They get Derek Jones numbers. They get Derek Lively numbers. Like, they make I can look at them and go, you know
Everybody around them
what?
better.
They are dissecting this defense, not just to get theirs, but so that they can get everybody else's theirs. I don't see that with Boston. I think they are great individuals, but I don't know that they mesh the way that Dallas does.
Subscribe here to get the latest from Speak and go watch a few segments from our other shows on FS1.